Oh, hey, how y'all doing? This is MagMongoSlade, and today we're going to talk about Kylie Rae leaving pro wrestling. But first, hit the like button for me, please. Thank you. And then hit subscribe, if you please. Thank you kindly. So now let's talk about Kylie Rae. So Kylie Rae, as far as November the 2nd, put up on her Patreon page that she is no longer a wrestler. She has been going through some trouble with Impact. But this is the same Kylie Rae, or Kylie Rae, I'm sorry, who vacated AEW last year. Now, I first heard the name Kylie Rae during this whole hubbub with AEW because I did not know she existed. It's impossible for me to know all the independent wrestlers that ever existed. So I didn't know about this woman until Cody made this comment about Bayley, about, you know, she's, because Kylie Rae and Bayley, who was doing the hugger gimmick at the time, I believe, they were kind of similar. And somebody was like, oh, yeah, she's just like Bayley, blah, 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 blah. And then Cody said, well, she's not like the inflatable tube men pretending to be nice. And, you know, people got on Cody for that comment. and of course, he thought, oh, it's just a joke, blah, blah, blah. You know, nonsense. But I don't remember if Kylie Rae actually made an episode of AEW Dynamite. If she did, she didn't work that many of them before she left. And she asked for her release, and she was granted her release. And then the weirdness happens. Because there was a dark cloud, very weird, that she left AEW and nobody knew why. And then what made it even more suspicious is that nobody wanted to ask why. You know, as a matter of fact, you were told by Brian Alvarez that it's a personal thing. You should just mind your own business. Shut up and leave her alone. I was like, whoa, that's interesting. What are we trying to cover up? Is there a cover up? Because that sounds like a cover up. Sounds like a cover up to me. So then she disappears for a little while, and then she pops back up, and she's working at Impact. And, you know, so she works at Impact for a little while. She works at Independence. And I made a video about her in the intergender wrestling. If you want to listen to me talk about intergender wrestling, you can go there. It's a couple of months ago. And then she no-shows Bound for Glory on October the 24th. Everybody was worried about her. Everybody was like, oh, wonder where she was. And there was a lot of conflicting stories about whether she showed up to the building or whether she just showed up in town. But it didn't matter because she didn't show up at the show. And then that went under the rug for a little while. You know, everybody was like, oh, she put out a message saying she was okay, that she was alive. And that's all we knew, that she was alive, which is really weird. Like, you know, she's alive. Like, okay, well, I guess that's okay. You know, like, that's perfectly fine for her to be alive. And then, you know, we found out she's not going to be on Impact for a while because she skipped the tapings too. You know, I'm like, okay, well, maybe the tapings was right after the show. And, you know, they probably had the pay-per-view live and then had the tapings a couple of days later. And then she skipped the tapings too. So like, that was weird. And then the next day, we found out that she decided she's not going to be a wrestler anymore. Now, it could be any reason. It could be her heart's not in it anymore. It could be something wrong with her. Whatever it is, she has a right to privacy and a right for people to mind their own business. I 100% agree with that. I don't believe in people should speculate and try to connect dots that might not be there. But I do find it suspicious that when it comes to Kylie Rae, or Kylie Rae, however her name is pronounced, that it's okay for it to be left in mystery and for people to mind their own business. But when it comes to other people and in other situations, there is wild speculation, and there's constantly wild speculation. If it's okay for it to be to leave people confused about why she left, or why she's not wrestling, or why she's not doing something, why can't it be the same for everybody? Why is it's okay to speculate on other people's stories, to make up shit about other people, to sow dissension, lie, manipulate? Because half of what the dirt sheets do is they put stuff out there and then they wait for you to respond. They wait for the wrestler to respond. They'll put a statement out there, John Cena seen eating cupcakes with weed in them. And then they'll see if John Cena's going to say anything about it. And sometimes, and most of the time, 90% of the time, he's not going to. And when he doesn't, then that people are going to take that to believe, oh, he didn't say anything. He didn't say it wasn't true. Therefore, it is true. It's like, not necessarily. Okay. That's not necessarily the case. But that's really what they do. 99% of the wrestling internet is bullshit headlines based off of minute shreds of information that they heard second or third hand. But it's not cool to put out information that's second or third hand for somebody else. How about we equalize it, and it's not okay to put out bullshit information about anybody? How about that? So I'm perfectly fine with the internet not wanting to jump to conclusions about what happened to Kylie Rae. I'm perfectly fine with that. I want them to stop jumping to conclusions about everybody else too. How about that? Is that too much to ask for? Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I just want you to stop jumping to conclusions about everybody else too. If it's okay for her to go about her life in peace, then it should be okay to let other people's stories, for you to just say, I don't know what happened, and leave it at that. But what was so suspicious is that you wasn't supposed to even ask. And that's really what threw me for a loop. Because it's not like, well, we don't know, we don't have any information, yada, yada, yada. It's stop asking. Nobody's supposed to know. And then I've heard, of course, there's non-disclosures and there's all this type of stuff. And that's when the conspiracy theories started to come out. Is when it doesn't seem like you're the nosiest sons of bitches in the world, don't really want to know what's happening. Either you know what's happening, you just don't want to talk about it, or, you know, you're not really trying, right? And either or is fine. But I'm saying it's level the playing field. If you don't want to know what's up with Kylie Rae, stop trying to make up stuff about other people too. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Like this video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And I thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.